often find yourself having fun, creative ideas and you're like, maybe I'll get to it one day. And then you just like keep scrolling on your phone and then you just like don't do it ever. Well, no more. I'm done doing that. I got the idea to make a Silly Goose Themed Tarot deck. I started sketching some geese and I was like, oh, they're so great. And then I started sketching some ideas for like the sword suit. And then I was like, oh, it's over. Tarot decks have 78 cards in them. So that means I have to make 78 individual illustrations and write a booklet that describes each card and like what their meanings are. So like that's not like a small project. I had to make a plan, and this is how I broke down making a plan, and I thought maybe it could help some other people who are interested in starting some creative projects. The first thing you have to do is figure out what your why is. Why are you going to put yourself through all of this bullshit? It has to be a good enough reason, or else your brain is going to talk you out of it, basically. Your brain is going to throw every excuse at you as to why you should logically give up. And you need to have a solid enough reason to not give up. Your brain, like, trying to convince you to give up is a silly little defense mechanism our little organic vessels came up with in order to protect us from pain. Unfortunately, growth is painful. If you want to do anything that's worthwhile, it's gonna include a little bit of discomfort. So if you want to grow, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. External validation is not helpful because you have no control over external factors in your life. You have no control over who likes your posts or who pays money for your products. So if you want a good solid why as to why you're gonna put yourself through all this bullshit trying to make this whatever creative project you're doing, it has to come from within you. There are things in your soul that will never be made, that no one will ever feast their eyes upon unless you get out of your dumb brain and start making shit. This also applies to myself. I'm also talking to myself here. These are my reasons why for the tarot deck. One, it's a fun concept that needs to exist. That is the biggest one. I think Silly Goose Tarot deck, and I'm like, absolutely. Like I want that physical deck in my hands. I love tarot. I think it's a really helpful tool that people can use. Making my own deck will help me connect to the cards better, and I have to like research and put a bunch of effort into making my own cards, so that'll help me. It'll improve my digital painting skills. Start and finishing a project like this will help me build skills and endurance for me to tackle even bigger projects in the future. Not only am I committing myself to making a tarot deck, but I'm also committing myself to recording and posting shit on social media along with the tarot stuff. So I also need whys for why I'm subjecting myself to posting on social media, because that's also a lot of bullshit. My number one reason is recording the process, and writing everything down will help me process my thoughts, which will hopefully make condensing my thoughts into the booklet easier. I like tarot cards, and if I share my interest about tarot cards, other people might be interested and they might want to know more, and then everyone gets to know about this thing I really like. Okay, so now what? Wanting to do something and actually doing it, two separate things. How do we get from A to B? Okay, the only thing standing between me and my goals is me. So the question is, how do you control chaos incarnate? Structure and like planning is something that you might bristle at if you're a creative person. Passion is like the boost that gets you started, but you need more than just like creative passion in order to complete a long project like this. Okay, so I identified 5 steps for my plan making process. think of it like a good plan is about making all of the decisions ahead of time so you don't get decision fatigue later. Otherwise, things get messy and overwhelming very quickly. First thing I did is set a time frame. You kind of want to know, you want to get an idea and a realistic idea of how long this is going to take you. That's kind of like the first step at getting your plan into reality. For me, I broke my project down into cards per week. I decided that 3 cards per week, that would take me 26 weeks, and I would be done in October. That's 6 months. For some people, that's like, oh my God, that's so much fucking time. For me, 6 months isn't that bad. If you want to reach the finish line, you need to set a pace. And for me, that pace, 3 cards per week, I feel like that's doable. Number 2, set project constraints and parameters. So, limiting yourself is actually good for creativity, believe it or not. When I'm making all of these illustrations, these 78 illustrations, I need them all to feel like they're a part of a set, like they're all in the same world. So for me, I'm going to achieve that by setting, by limiting things. Like I'm going to have a limited color palette, limited subjects, and a limited art style. So by choosing to keep the same parameters for all 78 cards, I am freeing myself from the overwhelming task of having to make decisions over and over again for each of the 78 cards. When in doubt, simplify. You want things to make sense and be simple. The more complex you get, the more chance you have to mess everything up, basically. 3, make a process that works for you. So like this is, how are you actually gonna do the thing from step A to B? This is where consistency really comes to play. A bad system is going to feel redundant and full of friction. If you hate doing a part of your project, you're most likely never going to pick it up again. So for me, this is why I decided to draw each card digitally, even though I'm mostly a what's it called? Physical mediums? Who knows? Editing me knows what I mean. If I wanted to do a tarot deck, like physically, and then also like film and post everything on social media, I'd have to drag out my camera and tripod every time I wanted to draw a card. I only have one battery that when I'm filming lasts like 30 to 45 minutes. And it takes me more than 30-45 minutes to finish one card. And then once I'm done drawing the card, I have to scan it, upload it, format it, and like shit like that, and like edit it anyway. So like, instead of just putting myself through all of that bullshit and headache and logistical nightmare, I can just draw them on my laptop, which is also a tablet, very rad. So this is the Surface Book. I think that's what it's called. There are like a bunch of Surface like products. This one, if you press this button, bloop, it unattaches, and doing this with one hand is difficult. And then it's a tablet, and I got the fancier pen. There are like 2 different pen options. The only stupid thing about this pen is that it doesn't come with the charger. And you need the charger in order for the pen to work. Like, it literally won't let you use the pen unless you have touched it to a charger. Like, that is the stupidest business decision I've ever heard. Just sell them together. Just sell them together, Windows. Microsoft, get your shit together. And it can play The Sims and, like, other Steam games and stuff like that. And handle computer editing. So, it's really, like, besides the, I went with like the lowest memory or I forgot what it's called, like capacity. And then I have an external hard drive, and like you can use flash drives and stuff. And it has a card reader. So it's like literally perfect for what I need. So yay. It makes everything so much easier. Like it broke down all of my steps basically. So all it is open 2 programs, press play, start drawing, you know, that's easy. And then when I want to edit it, it's already in the editing software. Boom, boom, easy, you know? So you want to make sure your process makes sense and works for you. The fourth thing in your plan, you want to make a schedule. You got to carve out some time. When the fuck are you going to work on this thing? Because if you want it to come into reality, you're going to have to spend time on it. So obviously, it's up to you how much time that you can. Like, everyone's life is different. Personally, I'm a stay-at-home parent. So for me, my workday kind of bounces from nap to nap. And most of my free time is after the kid goes to bed. So for me, Monday's the planning day. It's when I pick 3 cards at random. I start writing stuff down for the blog and like compiling information about each of the cards that I'm going to be drawing. And then pick a topic or theme for the video. On Tuesday, that's my design day, so I'm going to just do some sketching and then draw one of the cards is the goal for Tuesday. Wednesday's my filming day. Welcome my fridge. This is the to-do list for today. It's usually the day I don't have the kid. My mother-in-law takes the child on Wednesdays, so I have the most time to do things. So hopefully I can draw 2 cards, film some B-roll, and film a voiceover or talking head like portion of whatever the topic I want to film for that week is. Let's go, baby. Work day. Then Thursday's my editing day. Start like editing all the shit together. And then Friday's the finishing touches day. So finish editing, finish writing, do whatever I gotta do, and then schedule the posts for the next week. That's the idea, you know. We'll see how that actually goes in action. This week I'm a little bit behind, but that's because I had to come up with everything. So we have a schedule, and the last and very important last step is you need to set your boundaries and priorities. We're fighting back on hustle culture here. Life is meant to be lived, not toiled away. You know, you don't have to be productive every second of your life. You know, that just leads to miserable burnout. I've been there before. Make sure you're taking time for yourself. Time spent on taking care of your mind, body, and soul is not time wasted. That is very, very valuable way to spend your time. And for the love of God, go to bed. I swear to God. All of you artists, you're always fucking up your sleep schedule. I know it. I know. I see it. Sleep is very important. Having a normal sleep schedule is super important. Luckily, I'm kind of forced into a normal sleep schedule because I have a child. And if I don't go to bed early, I'm gonna be fucked for the next day. What I was saying before my camera rudely cut me off is that I'm hoping to be able to churn everything out during the weekdays so that on the weekend I can just spend that time with my family and not thinking about work. The fun part about like picking 3 cards every week on Monday that I don't know what I'm going to be working on in the next week, so it kind of forces me to not think about the quote-unquote work week. So definitely carve out some time for just like you and your loved ones. Very important as well to live like a very balanced, full, fulfilling life. The sword suit corresponds with like air, the element air, which also corresponds to like thoughts and ideas and conversation. So it is kind of funny that like subconsciously I chose to do the sword suit first, because this video was all about planning and making a plan, and obviously the king and the queen of swords are going to be the best at doing that. I struggled doing the king of swords a little bit, trying to figure out what I wanted him to be. If I decided that if I need to edit anything at the end, I'll do that if I want to go back and redo any of the cards. But for now, it's definitely good enough. I'm also going to do the little icons in like text like at the end. So those are just like placeholders for now. If you have any questions about like tarot or anything, like put them in the comments. I'll strive to tackle and answer them in future videos. These are the cards I did this week. It is the Queen of Swords, the King of Swords, and the Fool. The Queen of Swords I did first, but I didn't have, or it was before I decided to like really commit to the tarot. She was like a proof of concept, and I drew her and I was like, oh no, I love it so much, I have to do it. So I don't have the process for her, but I'm gonna try to do it for all the other cards. So yeah, subscribe, stay tuned for more, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye. So it is 1 o'clock and I made lunch.